Well, each week a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week sounding off on Indy landing the college football playoff championship game. It's also been a big jobs week around the state, and two teams, professional teams, seemingly going in two different directions. Our insiders this week are Vox Global Managing Director Mike Marker, Winston Terrell Group Principal Robin Winston, and Indy Chamber Chief Economic Development Officer Maureen Krause. And welcome one and all to another edition of The Insiders. We'll start out with a sports story that's also a business story in many respects, and that's the college football playoff national championship game coming to Indianapolis in 2022. Robin, your thoughts on that? It's a huge event. Interesting that it wasn't even a bid process, that the college football playoff organization called Indy and say, hey, could you do it in 2022?
It's tremendous. It's a testimony to what we were able to do at the Super Bowl, NCAA Final Four, NCAA headquarters, the quality and the value of the kind of people we're able to put in that stadium, the public-private partnership. It's a great win for Indianapolis.
Yeah, and another validation for that strategy around sports that started, 30, 40 years ago.
Pan Am Games in '87 and all that. Now it's culminated in hosting the national championship. It's great.
Mm-hmm. It says a lot about, once again, our community and what we can offer and how we can turn something around with a great partnership between our private sector businesses, our strong public sector and philanthropic community, and once again gives us great exposure in a national and international audience that you can't buy.
Yeah, and to that point, to Maureen's point, Mike, they're talking 150 plus million in economic impact, but beyond that, and that exposure and that visibility and what it says about a city that can successfully host these kinds of events, what kind of a statement does that make to businesses, conventions, and others looking at Indy?
Yeah, I think we're both a state that works, which we talk about, and we're a city that works. And when we get people here in the market, they're impressed. And they go back and they tell other folks, and sometimes they go back and they say, I want to move jobs here, I want to move my company here. So it's great for the economic impact that will happen around it. It'll be really exciting for the city. Maybe we'll see if a Big Ten school makes it.
My school will be there, I know
as
that.
part of it. But it's great to see, and a real testament to the strategy that's been playing out over several decades now.
Yeah. As we look at another big week for jobs, for economic development, and one of the big stories certainly that has been in the headlines for the last several weeks is Amazon's second headquarters that many communities, many regions around the country, including the Indianapolis region, are going after. Indiana senators made their pitch to Amazon, to CEO Jeff Bezos to come here. Maureen, I know you can't talk specifics, but you were very much involved with putting together the pitch here. 43 days of a regional collaboration, if you will, to put that pitch for Amazon together.
It was an unusual proposal that we received. Typically, they're not public. Typically, we get a little more than 43 days for the volume. They asked for a regional approach, which we took. We used our Indy Partnership 9-county regional effort along with the IEDC and a couple of key private sector partners to tell the story about why our region is in the best position for this project. And we're very proud of the work we did, how we put together a cohesive proposal. Many other regions in the country couldn't pull that off. Yeah. And the work that we did and the information that we put together is something that we'll use for the next one and the next one. So there was no downside for going through the process. We're really excited about what we've put forward, and we look forward to moving forward.
What was your biggest takeaway from that 43-day period? Was it the regional cooperation? What was kind of your takeaway?
Love the regional cooperation and the fact that everyone knew there would be a benefit for this entire region when you have a project of that size. And really something that I had said to our board recently is when you looked at the leadership and what they put together here, this is a region and the state that is full of servant leaders. And that is really something that companies look for to be a part of. And it just came out every day with every person who wanted to help and be a part of it.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget about RFRA and the impact it had on our state. My mentor in all this was Maynard Jackson, the former mayor of Atlanta, and they coined the phrase, the city too busy to hate. It showed. You got Salesforce in a 48-story building downtown. Yeah. Now you have Amazon. I saw the proposal. It had a section about quality of life, some of the intangibles that are out there. They want to move to places that are respectful of people, that are going to cooperate, and going to be a place where their employees can come and have a great quality of life. This is one of 3 in Indiana because Hammond submitted and Gary submitted. So hopefully we'll land one.
Yeah. Mike, your takeaway from this gets a lot of hype, a lot of attention around the country, certainly. But the fact that, again, three pitches, as you said, Robin, but putting these together and making a bid, how important it is to do that.
Right. Well, as Maureen mentioned, a great collaborative effort, and if we get the win here, that's great, but it's going to be useful in other ways too. I'd also look at that former GM stamping plant and the asset that potentially creates for one site that they could locate. And if they end up going there, holy hallelujah that a criminal justice center didn't go in there or an outdoor music theater, because it's a really valuable asset that I think is important.
Yeah, let's talk about some economic development announcements again this week. A big announcement coming from India, Axis, which is an engineering firm, 500 jobs. Forest River in northeast Indiana, adding 125 jobs on the RV side. There's a distribution announcement in Greenwood. So, Maureen, as we were talking off camera, really gets to kind of the diversity of economic development deals beginning to happen around the state.
This is 1 week, and to have 3 key announcements in 1 week in 3 different verticals of industries really points to the great depth we have in this region and this state to accommodate those types of jobs and companies that know that they make decisions knowing they can succeed here. That speaks a lot to what we're all about.
Yeah, how about the global nature too? The Axis, Indian company. We're seeing a lot of Infosys, another Indian company with a big investment here as well. But that global attention Indiana's getting.
Well, and we have a track record here. We focused as a state on going after Japanese-based companies for a while, and we attracted a lot of those companies here. I think Governor Holcomb, his team, and others are smart to go after Indian companies as well. And with this engineering company, the way that it syncs up, as they noted in their announcement, with automotive, with medical device companies, with the engineering base here we have from some of our higher ed institutions, it seems like it's a good synergy there.
I think it's great internationally too that it used to be you campaigned against going to get jobs from certain.
I remember, yeah.
I mean, if you were in politics, people denigrated you for kind of going after those jobs. The bottom line is we're going all over the place. It speaks to the quality of the people in our public schools that we're graduating. If you remember the one release about the RV place, they talked about the quality of the rural workforce. So this is coming with, the school superintendent's doing a great job and people doing a great job getting people ready.
I have 3 topics. Got to be very quick on these, Maureen. I want to ask you about the Purdue startup. On Target Labs receiving $40 million, some of it VC. Indiana doesn't get its fair share. How important is that?
Well, it's good to once again bring that story out that we have companies and technology here that is worth the venture capital industry looking at, and we just have to be more proactive at bringing more of that here.
Okay, another big story, IU fundraising. They reached the $2.5 billion mark, raising it now to $3 billion. Fundraising is the lifeblood of universities in many respects.
It certainly is, and they're going from that $2 billion to maybe getting up to $3 billion by 2020. And one of the reasons why is part of this, they focus on new ideas that help Hoosiers that can also apply beyond that. And with their research group and their grand challenges and their focus on addressing opioid addiction, environmental change, also looking at curing some forms of cancer and childhood diseases, I think people are rallying around those things and many others with the leadership of that university.
Big story there. And as we wrap up, 2 professional teams, Colts and the Pacers, Robin, seemingly going in different directions. The Colts, the bad news, not surprising, Andrew Luck will be out for the rest of the season. The Pacers traded Paul George. Everyone was up in arms. Now they're saying, hey, maybe that was a pretty good deal. So
enthusiasm, that's the biggest difference. It's enthusiasm. People are not looking down at their cleats or at the top of their shoes anymore. I mean, the Pacers are enthusiastic. They're giving each other high fives. Victor coming along has been great. I think that spurred interest among IU people to go see a hometown hero play. So it's been tremendous.
Great. Well, another great Insiders panel this week. Robin Winston, Maureen Krause, Mike Marker, thanks very much. And we'll be right back after this.